The search for Michael Vaughan continues. Michael went missing from his neighborhood in Fruitland in July of 2021. He was just 5 years old at the time. Law enforcement has spent the last year and a half investigating. But the Fruitland police chief says a credible tip led investigators to a home near Michael's neighborhood this weekend.
Crews are back out in Fruitland today searching for Michael Vaughan. Police believe his remains are in the backyard of a Fruitland home, and today is the sixth day crews are excavating the yard. Crews could be at the house on Red Wing Street for another week. This house is just 4 minutes from the Vaughn's home.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
Evidence suggests that the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Sarah Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Sarah Wondra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. And Stacy Wondra, 30 years old, a male. Stacy was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacy Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian Lucian, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacy Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. I am Samantha. It is Friday, June 13th. It's Friday the 13th, y'all. And it is Friday. Pretty Assessor, good to see you. Didn't get too late yet, huh? Oh my gosh, we got a lot to go over and cover tonight. Going to be talking about the suspects in Michael Vaughan's case and their mothers. And are they naive? Or are they hindering the investigation? Are they being manipulated? We're going to go over a lot of information that I have on that. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Yeah, I liked your little silly message earlier today. Minky in the house. Thank you for coming in. Pretty Assessor is here. Mixboran from Scotland is here. We've got Big O and Sally Mae. Thank you guys all so much for joining tonight, supporting Michael Vaughan and the Vaughan family. Barbara is in the house. Thank you so much for coming. Eve is here. So good to see everybody. All right. Just looking through some comments. Want to see if I missed anybody. Amelia, thank you for coming in. Cotton Candy is here. Number 9. Thank you guys all so much for coming in. I flat forgot to message any of my moderators. So, yeah, forgot. It has been a long, busy week. Not a drama, Nana. Thank you for coming in. Dawn is here. What's going on, everybody? Anybody got plans for the weekend? It's Father Day weekend. I hope all of the fathers out there have an amazing weekend. Capital Productions, good to see you. I got one of my moderators here, but she's driving. What's up, Heidi? I have been working in the background, putting together some great stuff. I finally got permission to talk about Adrian Lucian. So I'm getting everything together that I have to be able to speak about him really soon and talk about things that I have been told by one of Adrian's friends that Adrian grew up with. So I'm really excited to be able to bring you guys that information. I just don't know how long it's going to take me to put together because I have to redact a bunch of stuff. I have to do lots of clips and just redact information that can't be out there. So I got to be careful. AV is in the house. Hello, doll. I forgot to tell any of my moderators that I was going live. I put up that I was going live everywhere and then flat forgot because I've been sitting here writing out my live for like the last 3 hours. I write everything out. I hope your mother-in-law is doing well. Hair Curlers and Crime is still not here. She went to go see her father. Her family could really use a lot of prayers, but so far so good. Things with her dad are going well, so that is great. So yeah, prayers for Avi's mother-in-law, prayers for Hair Curlers and Crime's father. He's still got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm not want to talk about everybody's business, but you know, prayers work. And when you get a community praying all together, it works. It works, and it brings peace to the people that need those prayers. All right. So, lots to go over tonight. I think I'm just going to hop right into it because I can tell you right now, these parents, it's so strange. We've got a handful of Christian parents raising their kids, trying to do right, and they all end up being suspects in Michael Vaughan's abduction. Michael Vaughan was abducted July 27th, 2021 in his neighborhood. Only a 4-minute walk from where the suspects, Sarah and Stacy Wondra, Adrian Lucien, and Brandon Shirtliff, were living at the time of his abduction. We already know that Stacy Wondra has came forward, pretty much given a confession about things that he saw, which are Michael being buried in the backyard, his backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street. Did I get that right? 1102? I don't have it written down, but yeah, he said Sarah and Adrian buried Michael in the backyard and that he was buried in a garbage bag, and he couldn't remember the color of the garbage bag. It could have been white, it could have been black. Says that there could have still been or should have been duct tape still on Michael's mouth. He also says that if he's not there, he could have also been at Brandon's mom's house. He never says that he did anything to Michael. He only says he saw things. So which one of these suspects kidnapped Michael? Which one of these suspects buried Michael in the backyard at the Wandra's house? Which one of these suspects moved Michael to an unknown location? It is so odd to me that Stacy, as much as he loves his mother, would continue to hurt her even though she's the one who got him to confess, telling him to do the right thing, because she is a good, loving Christian woman who has done nothing but advocate for her son and continue even adopting him and trying to make sure that he got all the help that he needed growing up. Sarah's mom and dad, good Christian people, but they've had it. They don't want to keep helping her anymore. Adrian Lucien's mother was a Buddhist, an amazing woman that wanted nothing but the best for her son. Brandon Shirtliff's mother, Tina Morreale, and his grandmother, good Christian women. Do you see the pattern? All 4 of these suspects were raised by amazing parents. What the hell went wrong here? Well, we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about whether or not these mothers are naive, or these parents are naive, or are they straight up hindering Michael's investigation? And I'm going to let you guys decide. If there's anybody out there that knows anything about Michael Vaughan's abduction, please call law enforcement at 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too small. Let law enforcement decide whether or not it's a credible tip. Just bring the tip forward. If you know anything about the suspects, Michael Vaughan, if you know or heard anything in the churches that these suspects' parents go to, come forward, tell law enforcement what you have heard. 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. I believe that there are parents that know something. Maybe they think that it's nothing. Maybe they're really hiding something big. Who knows? But we're going to talk about it. Michael deserves justice. His family deserves justice. Charges are coming. When? I don't know. A lot of people keep asking me. I thought charges were coming. I thought so too. I recently heard the DA and his entire family got super, super sick. So I know that prolonged some stuff, but it's time for the charges to come. It's time for the family to rest easy a little bit, knowing that something is happening in this case. Brandy is super, super sick. I heard this last week. She is not getting the things done that she thought she was going to be getting at the end of July. Now things are put off till September. So many of us are so worried about her and making it to September. This is serious. She's so very ill. And all she wants is to know that justice is coming for her son. Please send prayers for Brandy and the family. They are so strong. Blue is looking for college. She's graduated. Buggy, she's spending all of the good time with her parents right now that she possibly can. They're going out doing family outings and stuff. I mean, this is a family who has an ill mother, wife, daughter, after losing Monkey. And they just want some kind of peace, some kind of something to happen in Monkey's case. So if you know anything, please be Michael's hero, be the family's hero, talk about it, tell law enforcement. It's the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. One of these suspects knows exactly where Monkey is, if not more than one. Hey, Rizzo, good to see you, hon. Thank you guys so much for the prayers. Yep, it was pretty sad to hear from Brandy. We talked for almost 2 hours on the phone last week about all kinds of stuff. And she, she's just ready to see some action. She has all the faith in the world. OG Nanny, thank you for coming in. She has all the faith in the world that Fruitland's doing everything they possibly can. There's lots of stuff happening in Michael's case. And if there's movement in this case, the prosecutor, the DA, they're not going to put anything out yet. I'm hoping suspects are talking or something to that effect. I'm hoping. And maybe that's what the holdup is, or there's tips coming in, and that's what the holdup is, because they have to add it to the charges. Okay. So let's talk about Tina Morreale. That is Brandon Shurtleff's mom. Brandon Shurtleff's mom has talked about so much stuff, and we're just going to hop right into it. We know cadaver dogs hit at Tina Morreale's house. Okay, we know that. We know it. She talks about it. This is what was written about it. So I'm going to go over this, and I know some of you guys have already heard this information, but we're going to go over everything we possibly can to just talk about these parents, the way that they do things, the way they could be hindering things. I believe that Tina knows something. I'm just not sure what it is that she knows. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe she just helps him too much. Doesn't tell him, talk. Go in and talk. This right here says, shirtless mother speaks. And this is after the cadaver dogs hit at her house. Okay? This is written out February 7th, 2022. We know that November of 2022, November 11th is when they searched the Wondra's home for Michael and did not find him. And then a few months later, this article comes out. Where is Shirtliff? According to his mother, Tina Morreale, he's in North Dakota, and she knows his location. Morreale told KTVB via Facebook that her son is not running and has nothing to hide. We have all been cooperating, but this has outright turned into a total harassment of Brandon and our family. It used to be innocent until proven guilty. Now it's guilty without proof. They are even pointing fingers at me and telling me I'm lying and hiding something, she said. Well, didn't she hear J.D. Huff talk about how there is evidence that Michael was buried at the Wondra's house and believed to be deceased? That cadaver dogs hit on that backyard? That her son was living at that house? That there's a picture of Brandon walking around the neighborhood the day that Michael comes up missing? And now has she heard his live shows that he's done with me, the recordings of her son talking about what he was doing, where he was at? Sarah's suspicious in the house. Thank you so much for coming in. Oh, swimming with the kids. I want to swim. Man, my shoulder's too messed up for swimming right now, but Tina Morreale pays for Brandon's fines. She bails Brandon out of jail. She pays for attorneys and their fees. She makes up excuses, gives him money, and believes he does absolutely no wrong, even though charges in jail paint a different story of drugs and paraphernalia, constantly just bailing out her son, and here, guilty without proof. Morreale claims she opened her home up to police when they came knocking. I gave them food and water, prayed with them, and allowed them to run their dogs and people through my house and yard. They did find my toilet was leaking, which I'm grateful for, Morreale said. She claims their cadaver dogs smelt the poop outside near her vent and crawl space, which was near her leaky toilet, she said. A leaky toilet? Here she is making up excuses about a leaky toilet. Cadaver dogs are trained to hit on the scent of death. They are not trained to hit on poop. They're not going to hit on poop. And she says that they hit around a vent and crawl space. Isn't the crawl space one of the things that Brandon seems to talk about so much in the JLR, even though he's talking about the crawl space at Stacy and Sarah's house and his house where he stayed, going off about it? It's kind of strange that we're now talking about a crawl space at Tina Morreale's. What was he doing? Is he playing games there? Is he thinking about the crawl space over at his mom's house while he's talking about Sarah and Stacy's crawl space? What's with him and a crawl space? Public Relations Director Mark Sullivan works for the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, a team that has been very active in the search for Michael. Sullivan consulted with canine experts on his team who told him that no cadaver dogs do not alert on human feces. Sullivan said that he's never heard of a canine dog being trained to find feces. Each dog has a very specific reaction that it does when it does what it's trained to do. He said via text message, the untrained human may not know or recognize when a dog alerts its handler. They come back with 17 cars, dogs, and shovels, and dug where the dogs alluded to the following day. They found nothing but my leaky toilet. But here's Tina Morreale admitting to the fact that the dogs hit. Not only did they hit, but they came back with 17 cars. Is law enforcement going to put out that much time, money, and effort? 17 cars, dogs, and shovels, and dug where the dogs alluded? Morreale wrote, "We have cooperated fully since this all began. Our attorney will probably be calling a press conference for all this slander." Did her attorney ever call a press conference? Nope. Is there any kind of slander lawsuit that I don't know about? If there is, Tina, come let me know. I would really like to hear about it. KTVB asked why Shurtleff hasn't come back to Idaho. Morreale said his attorney is handling it. Well, he didn't come back to Idaho, Mama, because he had a warrant for his arrest in Idaho that you paid for so he could come back to Idaho. I know my son's heart. He loves kids, animals, and the elderly. He has such a tender heart. He's always giving all he has. He would give his last morsel of food or his only shirt. He just always seems to choose the wrong type of people to be friends with, Morreale says. So here's an opportunity once again that she's making up excuses about how he has a good heart and loves kids and animals and the elderly, and that he would do anything for anybody and give them food or give them the shirt off his back. But it's not his fault. He hangs around the wrong people. Maybe her heart is so good and she's such a Christian woman that she just honestly believes that her son, is a good person, but just hangs around these, bad people and gets himself into trouble. Brandon is an adult. He's a man. He makes choices. He makes decisions. He does this himself. Even if he is choosing to be around bad people, they cannot make him do something he doesn't want to do. Huff said he could not elaborate on Morreale's comments due to the nature of the investigation. KTVB went to Morreale's home in Kuna to speak to her further, but she did not answer the door. Police said in the December press conference they had searched a home in Kuna without a warrant but did not elaborate. Law enforcement does not need a warrant if the homeowner lets them inside willingly. And Brandon, right here on this panel, said his mom cooked them all spaghetti when they came to her house. She really does sound like an amazing woman, but the fact is her son is a criminal. And he is a main suspect of Michael Vaughan's abduction. And she, maybe because she's a great Christian woman, just wants to believe that her son could never have anything to do with anything like that. And I can't blame her. what mom would want to believe. But then there becomes a point where you have to choose, Tina. You have to choose, is your son taking advantage of you because he knows you'll do anything for him? He knows you'll give him money, bail him out, pay his fines. He knows that you'll get an attorney. And you even admit here that you're getting an attorney and have an attorney. And you've gotten an attorney for him several other times to drop the warrant for his arrest, or when he got in trouble this last summer. Right after he went back to Idaho, he was already getting back in trouble after you paid for his warrant. You cannot keep just giving him a slap on the hand. You have to help your son make the right choices to talk to law enforcement. If you don't want him to talk to law enforcement without an attorney, help him get an attorney, which I have heard you've already done. You have helped him get an attorney. You and the attorney wanted him to go talk to Fruitland, and he wouldn't do it. He would not do it. You were going to go with him and the attorney, and he didn't do it. But what's going on now? Do you even know where your son is? Do you realize he's trying to hide from law enforcement because he knows that these charges are going to come? Because they offered him a plea deal to tell them where Monkey is, where he is buried, and he won't get the death penalty. Do you want to see your son die? He needs to take the plea deal. He needs to talk about where Michael is. You are his mother. If he truly has respect for you and his grandmother, he would listen to you guys and go do the right thing. Or are you not telling him to go do the right thing? Because I heard after he took off and went to Montana, when he first started to run, you knew exactly where he was and what he was doing, and you didn't want anybody talking about it. That is hindering. And I do believe you are a little bit naive, because you won't do anything but continue to support him and his decisions when his decisions are awful, when his decisions aren't great for Michael's case, aren't great for the Vaughan family, when law enforcement thinks he knows exactly where Monkey is. And you know that because either law enforcement came to you and had some kind of warrant or had something to produce to you to tell you they're going up to your mom's or up to your mom's graveyard area, what you inherited, the Mountain View Green Cemetery, just recently. You either were given something by the court to make you have to do it, or you let them go do it. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I really hope that you just worked with law enforcement to let them go search that graveyard that you inherited. But what happened when you did that? Brandon was livid. He was so mad at you for allowing or for law enforcement going there, because you had to sign a piece of paper to allow that to happen. We just aren't privy to all of the information to know whether or not you had to sign it or you signed it on your own free will. But because of everything else that I've been seeing, in my personal opinion, I'm pretty sure you had to sign something. Not by your free will, but court ordered. Since you're getting an attorney when the cadaver dogs hit at your house and you're making up excuses for your son. That you got a leaky toilet and they only smelled poop. I cannot make sense of it. It is so strange to me that Brandon ended up getting mad at his mom when law enforcement goes to the cemetery. Both Brandon and I have spoken to them repeatedly. They have searched my home with their dogs and found nothing. Unfortunately, they are the ones not telling the whole truth. Brandon knows nothing about this missing child, but they are still making these allegations. Brandon is speaking to them. He is not running or hiding because Brandon does not know anything. It's very sad what gossip and lies will do to an individual. Does she realize that Sarah Wondra said that Brandon duct taped Michael in the spare bedroom of her house? Does she not understand that there is a reason for that? And that Sarah, Stacy, and Brandon were at her house the night that Michael was abducted? And she says she didn't like Sarah and Stacy. She didn't want them at their house, according to Brandon. Then why were they at the house, Tina? Brandon's doing what exactly you said you didn't want him to do, which was bringing them to the house when you weren't home. That's Tina Morreale and her son, Brandon. This is the article that I just read you, the text message that was given to the article here when they spoke to her. This is the documentation that she inherited the graveyard where they just recently searched for Michael Joseph Vaughan. And I want to back up just a little bit right here because I find this very suspicious, you guys. She doesn't like Sarah and Stacy, right? That's what we keep hearing. Sarah Wondra's Facebook. Here's her friends. Look who she's friends with. Tina Morreale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people down. Tina Morreale on Facebook. Friends with Sarah Wondra. I don't know what to think about that. Seems to me that if she didn't like them, she wouldn't be their friends on Facebook, right? Just kind of odd. Tina, if you know anything, put yourself in Brandy and Tyler's position. Their son was abducted. He was murdered. And he was murdered either by your son or one of his 3 friends. And if he has any knowledge of it, he needs to come forward. If you're a good, loving Christian, you know deep down that what Brandon has to do is own up to what he did to be forgiven for his sins here. I don't know if you're hindering anything, if you're just naive, if Brandon's taking advantage of you. I believe he is definitely taking advantage of you, though, and you're just not seeing it. You are denying the drug use, the methamphetamines, the Mary Jane, and everything when it's all been right out in front of you. You protect him every chance you get, when you should be telling him to go do the right thing, not suggesting for him to stay quiet, because that's not going to do him any good in the long run. If you have any information, you need to come forward. You need to tell law enforcement. You know that Brandon's dad isn't doing anything for him. He doesn't want to help pay for attorney fees. He doesn't want Brandon at his house. He wants Brandon to go do the right thing. And you should also want the right thing for Brandon. You should want him to do anything he possibly can to help this little boy to get Michael Vaughan found. Let me make sure that I don't have any more information here. You know, I've actually wondered whether or not they used the ground penetrating radar at her house. And I am very I'm just really curious to know whether or not she was forced into signing something by the judge to let them go search that cemetery, or whether or not she did it on her own free will, because that would just be very telling. Now, let's talk about whoa, holy babe, come kill this giant spider. Oh, you guys, this spider is not just big, it's giant, it is fuzzy, it is black. Look how big that spider is, Tracy Glenn. Ew, ew, and ew. What is it with rodents and now spiders? Holy friggin' woo! Fuzzy, black, fuzzy. Oh, yay, great. Sitting right next to me. Yay. Nope. Yep. Ugh. I got the heebie-jeebies right now. It was climbing right on the phone that I was about to pick up. Negative. Oh, gosh. And McSporin's laughing at me. This is serious. I just can't with spiders or mice. They creep me out. If you guys would have saw that, if you would have. And it had like little white stripes and everything on it. It was quite, I don't know, cute and fuzzy, I guess, if you like spiders, but it was bad. Bullshit. Okay, I'm taking a minute. Now everybody's laughing. It's good to take a minute to laugh, though. You got to at some things in life, right? Just sit here and talk about so many serious things. Oh, Opal is here. Good to see you, hun. I love it when she comes in and gives us a sweet message. This one says, life can be tough, and sometimes you just need a gentle reminder that you are valued, you are important, you are valued, and you matter. Thank you so much. I just absolutely love your heart, Opal. You are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We think you're amazing and you matter to us. We love seeing you here. You can cooperate all you want. It doesn't mean he's innocent. Yeah. An enabler. McSporin, that is the best way to describe Tina Morreale. She is enabling. Melissa's in the house. Good to see you. Let me see here. We can all understand a mother protecting her son, but not for an abduction, murder. That's inexcusable. Exactly. She can still love him. You must do the right thing and have him tell the truth. Save the life you gave him. These are all really good. Thank you guys so much. God won't support this. No, he will not. The parents need to encourage their children to do the right thing, whether they believe they are innocent or not. They are not named suspects for no reason. Exactly. He is not a wee boy. He's only the man he's gonna be. Hope you're proud, Tina. Justice for Michael Vaughan, monkey. Stop talking for your son, Tina. Yes, make him do the right thing, Tina. Wait, he has the spare bedroom at Tina and not the Wondras? Yes, chaos, mama. believe that it was Tina Morreale's house. Chris Madonna was talking to Sarah Wondra, and during that conversation, he asked why they brought Michael back here when they were looking at videos of the Wandra's house. So meaning back here means back from Kuna. Somebody got up that next morning and went to Kuna. And then they brought Michael back to the Wandra's house. Pretty stupid if you ask me, but Tooth Fairy's in the house. Hello. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Chaos Mama, yes, they must have took Michael to Brandon's mom's house when they picked up the car. Yes, and don't forget that Brandon's ex-girlfriend and other friends said that Brandon went back to Kuna later that night, according to them. And that's the end of the message, where you guys all start laughing at me about the evil spider on my table. Oh, if I could have had you guys see that, I would have took a picture of it right then and there. Y'all would have, yeah, no way. A zebra spider, McSporin says. I don't know what it was. A black jumping spider is what my husband is saying. I have to close these blinds, everybody. Hold on one second. All right. So now I want to talk about my husband hit it with a shoe. He did get his shoe out. I didn't have a shoe to get him with, and I ain't touching it. All right. Dawn is driving and lurking. Good to have you. X Games mode. Late. Never get to catch a live. Well, you're here. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it so much. And then Avi's like, yeah, those jumping spiders are cute, though. I take it back. Yeah, yay, hubby. Yeah, I ain't doing that. It was, no. Anyway, sorry to get off track here. I want to talk about Kay and Ed Ramsey. That is Sarah's parents. There's a lot to go over, actually, with Sarah's parents, because even though you don't hear much about them, there's a lot that goes on with Kay and Ed. Sarah is a manipulator. I believe it 100%. And so is Stacy. And that's what they're doing to Kay. They are manipulating her. An amazing Christian woman who wants to believe that her daughter has done nothing wrong, who, you could pretty much tell her anything and she's going to find the good in it. She's just going to. It's not going to matter how bad the situation. But I do know that Kay wants the death penalty taken off of her. Whatever deal that went before Sarah, she wants the death penalty taken off so that, Sarah might start talking. Well, why would she feel that way? Only if she thought or knew that she possibly did know something. Why else would she want the death penalty taken off the table? What kind of deal was Sarah offered? I have a source, is all I can say. I trust my source, and I've gotten a lot of information about Kay, Sarah, and Stacy, and Ed, Sarah's father. You guys remember back when Sarah took the GUN, the weapon, to Tanner's face? That's why she's currently in jail right now till 2026, because she held a weapon to Tanner's face. Okay? When cops come, and she knew they were coming, Sarah knew they were coming, she took that weapon over to her mom's house so it could be hid there. Kay hides that weapon for Sarah at her house. She doesn't even give up that weapon to police when they come knocking on her door, asking questions about it, until they threaten to arrest her. That's how far Kay was willing to go then. That's how far she was willing to go to protect her daughter, after her daughter held this weapon to a man's face, knowing that Sarah has been in trouble many, many, many other times, and even spent jail time in Oregon because she was menacing, being violent. Menacing means to cause harm. She didn't give that weapon up until the cops told her she was going to be arrested. What is Kay capable of hiding now? Now, there have been lots of things. Sarah's parents. Oh my gosh. Sarah's parents. They come looking for Michael Vaughan and the Wondра's house. The house that the Ramseys own. And they don't even bother coming over to see what it was about. And lots of people want to know where their house is. They say it's right behind the Wondras. Let me show you where it's at. Can somebody give JLR some credit, please? JLR went over and found the Wandra's house, found the parents' house. And this is part of his video, so the credit goes to JLR Investigates. This is 1102 Red Wing Street. This is the house where Michael Vaughan was buried in the backyard and then later moved to an unknown location.
We're searching. Authorities dug up the property recently, looking for any signs of Michael Vaughan.
You notice there that that's the shed that they talk about in the video? Like, Stacy's always mentioning the shed.
Dug up the property recently, looking for any signs of Michael Vaughan.
Also notice that the trees that were there are gone.
Back here, look at there.
They searched everything and even dug up those trees. There's nothing left, or was nothing left of that yard when they were done. Digging 3 to 4 feet down, sifting through the dirt. They know Michael Vaughan was in that backyard, but they did not find him. That's what gave them reason to believe.
They were digging here, looking for him in the backyard. is Michael Vaughan. And now, Wondras also own a home right here, too. I'll show you another property that the Wondras also own. And I believe it is 1007 Mallard right here. I believe that they also own this property here, the Wondras. It says
This is the other home that the Ramseys were living in. This is where Sarah's parents lived.
the Ramseys. It says Ramsey on the door.
You can see Ramsey's right there on the door. So they are like behind the Wondras house, 4 to 5 houses down. And they start searching. They're digging up the Ramseys' property where the Wondras are living, the house that they let their daughter live in. And they're not even bothering going to the house.
Back up. The Ramseys. I wonder if the authorities are to also search that property. Taking around the neighborhood still.
So that's where the Ramseys lived, so close to the house that they did not even go there. And then I want to show you guys something here. I know that because Chris McDonough talks about it. In Stacy's confession. And even Chris McDonough thought this was very strange.
That shouldn't be done. So there's a lot of grass being moved here. Do you think her family's, what's her mom and dad going to say? They haven't even shown up. Any reason why you would think that?
That's very, very unusual of them.
Yeah.
Her mom and dad, her dad is like always trying to like be a part of something or always wanting to be, he always wants to see what's going on. So that's a very unusual act for them, just so you know.
Stacy says it's very unusual for Sarah's dad not to come around because it seems like he's a nosy body when it comes to his property. And then Stacy goes on to talk about the relationship between Sarah and her mom.
Her mom is always over at the house. Always.
Right.
So that's unusual.
You think they know?
I'm sure Sarah's told them. I'm sure Sarah, yeah. I'm sure Sarah and her mom have had a lot of secretive conversations. And she doesn't like to have conversations like that with when her dad's around. So she waits until she can get her mom, alone.
She waits until she can get her mom alone. That speaks volumes to me because that's exactly what I'm talking about Sarah manipulating her mother, about Stacy and Sarah manipulating Kay. Because they know she's a good woman that will only see the good in people. Sarah's dad is done. Absolutely done. He is only allowing Kay to send Sarah a certain amount of money each month. And that's it. Kay's reaching out to other people and asking them to help send Sarah money to get her things, phone cards, food, commissary, you name it, because Ed will not give her but a certain allowance to give Sarah. He isn't going to help with attorney fees anymore. He is done. He has said he is done. He wants nothing to do with spending any more of his money on Sarah. Why would her dad not want to help his daughter if he believed she was innocent of not doing anything? Like, he's completely cut her off. He is already feeling used and manipulated by Sarah and Stacy. And he cannot get Kay to realize that she is being manipulated by both of them. Now, where am I at? Hold on a second. So, also in this video, I want to talk about a couple of other things, because we know that Stacy has talked about there being items in the house missing that aren't there, that he wants to know where they're at, things law enforcement is looking for, because Chris Madonna is asking things in this video with Stacy, and Kay and Ed have things in a storage unit for Sarah, things that they are saving for Sarah or have for Sarah. Have law enforcement gotten a warrant to go search that storage unit? I don't know. We're not privileged to that information. Does law enforcement know about that stuff in storage? Probably. Because if I know it, I'm sure they know it, right? Because these phone calls going on with Sarah and other people, law enforcement's listening to. You know, there's a bed, a California King bed, that Stacy asked Kay, where is it? Where's the California King bed? Kay had to ask Sarah. Sarah told Kay it's in that storage unit. And then Kay tells Stacy it's in that storage unit. Kay and Sarah Stacy and Sarah are manipulating Kay. They talk to one another through Kay. Even though Stacy's filed for divorce and somebody's trying to help them get all of that information put into court and everything else, because Stacy really wants it done. But she's being used and manipulated because she will let them talk to one another, send messages back and forth to one another. That isn't doing Stacy and Sarah a damn bit of good. That's a little bit hindering, if you ask me. But here in this video, you can hear Stacy asking about things. Why does he want to know where these specific items are? We know law enforcement has been interested in mattresses that were in the house. There's, some kind of shelf in the garage that Chris Madonna mentioned, duct tape that they were trying to find. As Chris Madonna walks through this house with Stacy, he starts talking about things that aren't there anymore. And in videos and TikTok, if you go and you look at Sarah's TikToks, you can see items missing in the background that were once there but replaced with new furniture. So I'm just curious, and I'm wondering to myself whether or not this furniture is getting replaced because it could have some evidential value to it.
See what everybody's been up to. Is this your room here?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to see anything in particular while we're here?
What beds are in the house?
What beds are in the house, he asks. Why would he want to know what beds are in the house? Did him and Sarah work together to get rid of any kind of evidence that was in the house? And now he's just trying to find out if Sarah got rid of it or not?
This one right here, looks like some master. Looks like a comfortable bed. Is this one yours?
Yeah, it's the queen.
That's a nice bed. And I'll go in the other room. This one over here. That looks like a little water bed. I don't know what is that?
No, that's a queen bed as well. What's in the next room over?
This one's empty.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Was there a bed in there?
There was supposed to be a California king bed in the master bedroom in our.
And remember, he asked Kay about this California king bed. Kay asked Sarah. Sarah tells Kay. Kay tells Stacy. It's in that storage unit that they have for Sarah's stuff.
Bedroom, but I don't know what happened to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which one did Adrian stay in?
The room the room you're facing to your right.
This one here?
And no.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that his or is that yours?
Go up closer. What is that? I can't see it.
Nightstand?
Looks like a nightstand or something.
The table Sarah's. I don't know what that green thing is. Is there a blue cord connected to the back of it?
Yeah.
That's probably the Wi-Fi.
Anything in here?
No. What's the garage look like? Empty?
See, Chris Madonna is so willing to take him through the house. But as soon as he leaves that bedroom where he wanted to know about this California king, Chris Madonna wants to start walking through like the laundry room and other places. He's looking in. He's more interested in what's in the garage. Stacy wants to know what's in the garage.
Yeah.
Well, it looks about the same. It has her car and what it looked like before, and there's like a trailer and.
Oh.
Yeah, her car's here. Where was that duct tape at?
Turn the camera to the left of her car.
Over here?
Yeah, there was a bookshelf. Yeah, that's the duct tape roll.
There was a bookshelf.
I think, or is that Scotch tape?
It's Scotch tape.
Yeah, no, that's not the right one. No, it wouldn't be on the table. There was a little stand.
Okay. Let me look around for it.
It was a tall bookshelf. It was a tall one.
Okay.
No, she must have gotten rid of it.
Okay.
Gotten rid of it or put it inside that storage unit. Now, that's what I'm wondering. Has law enforcement seen what's in this storage unit? Did they have give a warrant? Have the Ramseys let them search it? Here's another part where they're talking about furniture, cars, and stuff.
A lot. You're helping us, and we appreciate that very much. Let's go to the garage and see where your fishing poles are.
You got fishing poles? To the right.
Okay, I got this
Other right. There you go. Oh, that's a gas can. Okay, keep going down. Okay, there's one. Yep, that's one of them. Is there only one?
Yeah, there's only one, but.
That's awesome. Yeah, that pisses me off too.
Here's the pump that's open. Did they put him in the trunk?
I would assume they put him on one of the trunks, yeah.
Well, but did they or don't assume, don't guess. Remember, we don't want you.
I honestly don't know where he was placed.
Okay,
What is that?
it's a no. Who's Edward Ramsey?
Her dad.
Okay, yeah. And let me see if there's another fishing pole. Scott's not finding it, I'm not finding it.
No.
Yeah, a lot of stuff over here. Whose stuff is all this?
Ed's and K's.
Okay, mostly the parents' house. Hey, you say there's the shelf here where the duct tape was is gone?
Yeah, it's no longer there.
The shelf where the duct tape was is gone. That is suspicious to me. Sarah's changing furniture, getting rid of furniture. She's putting stuff in storage. Did she get rid of any items? Are those items worth checking out or knowing? I mean, Chris Madonna wants the duct tape. So obviously there's some kind of evidence of something there at the house that Chris is wanting. Has law enforcement went through her storage unit? I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing. What Stacy seems to be interested in, and all of the items that Stacy seems interested in, those are the items that are missing. That is my whole point. And we already know that the California King that he's asking about is in the storage unit. Now I'm wondering if the other things that Stacy's interested in are in that storage unit as well. And why is Kay talking with Stacy when Stacy's throwing Sarah under the bus? Does Kay not know that Stacy has said that Sarah buried Michael in the backyard in a garbage bag with duct tape over his mouth? And that when he says they went to Cuna and brought him back here, that Chris Madonna is talking about Brandon and Sarah. Sarah has so many connections here. Sarah is the one in her own affidavit that says, I didn't harm that boy. Stacy did it. He's buried in the backyard. Oh, and then changes her mind later on that Adrian did it and that Stacy just buried him. Like Sarah's own confessions, the first day on November 11th, when they come there to the house with a search warrant and they arrest her for not telling police that, hindering the investigation, not telling the police that Michael was buried in the backyard. I mean, Sarah's mom's got to know all of this information, right? But yet they have to put cuffs on her almost to get the weapon out of her house when Tanner comes. How far would Kay go to hinder the investigation, to keep law enforcement from things? And then you hear in the video too, later on in his confession footage, that they left in Sarah's car to go back to Cuna the next morning, not Stacy's Lexus that he drove. But then you've got people in this case running their mouths with rumors, listening to Stacy that law enforcement spent $6,000 to get the Lexus. Well, why would they do that? If Michael was moved in Sarah's car, wouldn't law enforcement want her car to look for evidence? I mean, it's not going to really matter what vehicle Michael was abducted in. What's going to matter and what evidence they're going to find is which vehicle was it that Michael Vaughan was moved in after he was deceased. Speaking of rumors, Then you have this damn tricycle that is absolutely crazy. Because Sarah's telling people that Kay and Ed were out walking around in the neighborhood and found that tricycle that Chris Madonna's talking about. They found it in a ditch, and then they took it over to the Wondra's house. Now, is that Kay and Ed covering up for something that they shouldn't be covering up for by saying, oh no, we found that in a ditch? It ain't nothing. It has nothing to do with it. And from what I understand, the tricycle doesn't have anything to do with it, but we're not privileged to all of the information. But we do know that Chris Madonna is interested in the tricycle. We know that some people out there are calling a tricycle a bicycle with training wheels, which is ridiculous. But why would Sarah be telling people that her parents found that tricycle in a ditch and then they just come and put it up in her garage? And honestly, I don't even know whether to believe that or not. Stacy calls Kay, and if he wants to get any information to Sarah, he uses Kay to do that, to get information to her. Then Kay talks to Sarah, gives her the information, and relays things back to Stacy. The question is Kay being naive, or does she know exactly what she's doing? Is she being manipulated? Absolutely. Does she realize it? I don't even know if Kay realizes that this is what they're doing to her, that they are using her. I mean, she is a great Christian woman. She goes to church every Sunday. She believes in that forgiveness wholeheartedly, 100%, and that anybody that does anything deserves, to be forgiven. And like I said earlier, wants Sarah to take a plea deal as long as the death penalty is off the case. Why would she be wanting her to take the plea deal off of the case, or take the plea deal as long as the death penalty was taken off the case? Does she think that her daughter has something to do with it? Is she trying to get her daughter to do the right thing? Because Ed's done. Ed's not paying for attorneys, nothing. He's only allowing mama to give their daughter, a certain amount of money each month. That's it. Going in debt because their daughter is a suspect in Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder. And Stacy keeps trying to get Eve to contact Kay and Tammy, his own mom, and they don't want to talk to Eve. They don't want to talk to her. Kay, Sarah, and Stacy all believe, because they've been told, that a lawsuit is going to get them a bunch of money. It's a suit against Fruitland Police, State Police, FBI, who knows? It's a crock of shit. They are being lied to and told that they're going to get all kinds of money in this lawsuit, that Fruitland Police Department is crooked, that they're doing, awful things, blah, 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 blah. First of all, this huge, millions of dollars lawsuit that he was going to try doing on all the YouTube creators and everything. None of us YouTubers, none of us creators have received a damn thing, have not been served with anything. And I don't know how far Stacy's actually tried taking this lawsuit that he keeps getting told is gonna make him and Sarah so much money. why anybody would insert themselves into an investigation and make suspects think that they can sue law enforcement, the people that have evidence against them, the people that are going to bring charges against them, can win a lawsuit in court. Make sense of that. I cannot make sense of it. There is so much that I just don't get when it comes to 2K. I mean, it's just insane that I really just don't even think she knows she's being manipulated by Sarah, by Stacy, being used. It's a big deal. No mother wants to think that they're being manipulated, lied to, coerced to do anything. Is Kay and Edward hindering anything? I know Kay hindered once before, and now I'm wondering if she'd do it again. And if she is, how bad is she hindering the investigation? I wish I knew whether or not they've looked in that storage unit. I'm guessing they probably have. Honestly, I really feel like they probably have if they know about it. But I'm just awed. I sit here and just go, oh my God, like these Christian parents, all of the 4 of these Christian parents wanting nothing but the best for their children, wanting nothing but to believe their children could never have anything to do with this, being lied to, manipulated, coerced, just to the extent. And the parents still are giving. They're still allowing them to do it. It just blows my mind. I'm a parent of 3 children. There's no way in hell my kids are going to manipulate me. There's no way in hell I'm going to be passing messages from one person to the other, especially from a man who's thrown my daughter under the bus. I think Kay doesn't even realize, because she is such a good person, because she's just a loving person, a God-fearing, God-loving person. And she can't even think about it. She can't even just think for 1 minute that her daughter's capable of anything. But yet, at the same time, wants a plea deal for her daughter as long as the death penalty would come off. I can't make sense of it all. I hope Kay realizes what Stacy and Sarah are doing. Stacy is an awful, awful man. She believes that men wholeheartedly in a relationship run the show, have control. They're the boss in a marriage, period. That is not the case in their marriage. Sarah runs the show. Sarah is queen bee. Sarah is straight up god awful to her mother. Now, let me just look at chat, see if you guys have had anything to say, and then we're going to move on to Stacy's mom. Thank you guys for the prayers, for being here. Oh, I'm sorry, Barbara. I know it is heart-wrenching to think of all of the, information that we have found out in this case is so very difficult to know, to hear. None of us want to think about the things that Stacy has said. Stacy's mom has done nothing but advocate for him his whole life. I mean, even got him into the Special Olympics. She adopted him. She could tell after she adopted him, tried and tried and tried, but could tell something was definitely off about him. He had a huge anger control problem. Tammy is an amazing mother, an amazing advocate for her son. Here she is advocating. I did it. I got through the testimony without crying. Okay, maybe a couple of tears. This is so difficult. The bill before the House is about closing the developmental center due to abuse and neglect. This is at the place where Stacy Wondra was staying. She would, after she realizes she can't change Stacy, she can't help him. He goes into group homes and boys' homes, people that can, offer him help, get him the medications that he needs and everything, because he was destroying their family life at home. One of the sisters that he has, and I want to say he's got 6 to 8 siblings. I don't want to be right or wrong here, but 6 to 8, something like that, a lot. One of his sisters was absolutely traumatized by Stacy. I don't even know if it was like an S assault or what he did to her, but she's traumatized. She's had to go through counseling. Her mom felt absolutely horrible for the things that were going on in the house, the things that she allowed going on in the house for such a long time, his temper tantrums, everything he was doing was tearing his entire family apart. And to this day, if Tammy is talking to Stacy, she gets absolutely no support from her husband, from her children. Nobody will come around, speak to her, come visit her, nothing, if they know she's in communication with Stacy. And she has done everything for him. She's even told him to do the right thing, or I'm not talking to you anymore. At some point, Stacy does this confession that we've all seen in the footage. And, here's this mom. Then, after seeing this confession, or knowing that he did it, I should say, because he hasn't been able to talk to his mom and everything else. Let me finish with this, and then we'll get into her helping him confess. And it says, I know that there are some good workers there. Many witnesses came forward to testify for both sides. The bottom line is abuse is not okay. Something has to be done to help people with developmental disabilities and mental illness. I'm so frustrated. I want to do something. Where would I start? I tried to call Stacy tonight at the home, but they wouldn't let me talk to him. Lord, I need direction. I am so angry. I could spit nails. This is Stacy Wondra when he was younger. This is when he was right around the age, about the time that he was going in and out of those boys' homes, or a little bit younger, I should say. Here's his mom talking about, can't wait to see Stacy during the Special Olympics. Says, get to watch Stacy's scrimmage basketball game for the Special Olympics. Can't wait to see how he does. She really did do everything she possibly could to advocate for him, to get him better. That's all she wanted to do, was to get him better. Tammy's husband doesn't want her talking to Stacy either. He doesn't want her spending any money. He gives absolutely no support whatsoever to Stacy. Nothing. Stacy lies to her. And she pretty much just told Stacy to fess up to Ellie, or she wasn't going to talk to him anymore. And then we know that he gets so upset and so emotional about not being able to talk to his mom.
Call us back. We'll come back here and play back in.
Can you try to advocate and see if you can get a hold of, was one of the LT or or not LT because he's hunting, but the sergeant, and see if, but taking me away from one of the only thing that helps me with is being able to talk to my mom. And, all I want to do is talk to my mom. That's the only thing I really want. I didn't even barely get a chance to talk to her much last night because everything was so.
Okay, well, I'll talk to who I can and see if you're allowed to make calls, and we'll go from there. I don't, like I said, man, I'm on the patrol side of it, so I don't really know what happens back here too much. So, but I'll give you my word that I'll go talk to him right now and see. So basically, all you want to do is talk to your mom, right?
I just want to call my mom. I have minutes on her side. Okay. So calling her, I don't have to worry about them resetting a phone number for minutes or anything.
Okay.
It's just she has a proof that it comes up on her number.
Okay, well, we'll put you back over there and I'll talk to these guys and see what we can do for you.
Okay.
I mean, law enforcement right there, they know. Well, even Stacy, he's flat out like, it's the only thing that helps me is talking to my mom. I want to talk to my mom. I mean, you can tell that, he loves his mom and that, he's trying to do the right thing by confessing, talking to police like she wanted him to do. And then yet he deceives her while he's in there. He confesses. And then he turns around and tells her, I lied about it. Let me get that one out. That's in another one of his confessions. Chris
You're
Madonna's
10,000 million% positive he was back here in this backyard.
Yes. I mean, that's where Sarah had buried him.
Is there any reason why because you will be asked why you would lie about that?
No, there wouldn't be any reason I would ever lie about that. That, to my knowledge, that's where he was buried at.
Okay. And you mentioned to your mom, you said you called your mom and you lied. Did you lie to her again, Stacy?
No.
And Chris Madonna even says, did you lied to her again, Stacy? Like he says, you lied to your mom. You lied to her again, Stacy. Like even Chris Madonna knows that he is a liar, that he's lying to his mom about things. And then let's finish listening to what he has to say here.
I was in tears and I hadn't gotten any sleep. And so I literally, at the time I was with my mom, I was mind fucking myself because mentally I was fucking with my head because I was so exhausted. But I'm gonna call her back and so she can know that everything is accurate what I told you guys. Yeah, she knows, like, I mean, she knows that I'm working with you guys and doing what I can to assist you guys in the search of Michael. So Trust me. I mean, I'm probably the only person you have right now that's helping you. So, I mean,
we haven't talked to anybody else other than you.
yeah.
Called his mom and told his mom that he made the whole thing up, that it wasn't true. But now he's telling Chris McDonough, I'm going to call her. I'm going to tell her that everything I've told you guys is true and correct, that I'm trying to help you guys find Michael. I don't think he wanted his mom to believe or know that he had this information and didn't tell law enforcement, or he doesn't want his mom to think that he has any involvement. I truly think that Stacy loves his mom and was really worried about what she was going to think about him, knowing his mom well enough to know she was not going to be okay with it. She was not, maybe even not talk to him anymore. But she was a good enough person to at least tell him, like, tell the truth or I'm not talking to you anymore. I mean, can you imagine helping your son make, or, get him to confess to all of this? And then later on, here comes Stacy talking on YouTube to all these creators and everything else, and about his involvement, denying any and all things, blaming everybody else, having nothing to do with it. I didn't know anything about it. Sarah didn't do anything. Brandon didn't do anything. Adrian didn't do anything. Nobody did anything. We didn't do anything. What would she be sitting there thinking then? And then can you imagine his mom, if she listened, treat Brandy Vaughan the way that he did up on panel? Woo. You don't treat a mother of an abducted, murdered child that way. She had to have seen the real deal, the real ugliness within her son during all of those YouTube videos that he did, the lives that he did with all of us creators. He truly painted himself to look like a monster. I can't even imagine her disappointment in her son. She is probably heartbroken. But Stacy still tries to take advantage of her, lie to her, make her feel sorry for him, doing all of the things that he's been doing his whole entire life, and all she wants to do is try to get him some kind of help. And she thinks that if she does these little tiny things for him, that it's going to help. Is Tammy naive? I don't think so. I think she knows Stacy has knowledge about Michael's abduction and murder. I think she wants him to help find Michael. Hubby's phone's ringing. I honestly believe that if Tammy had any information that she could tell law enforcement, she would. She just seems to be that heartbroken and that honest about all of this stuff, even with Stacy. I'm heartbroken for these parents. Just absolutely heartbroken. Because I could not imagine being that mother, knowing that my child was a suspect. Show me proof, show me evidence. But if I had a feeling at all that one of my daughters or my son was involved in something like that, you can bet I would be the mom telling them, do the right thing. If you know something, you have to talk to law enforcement about it. It doesn't matter whether or not you're in trouble, whether or not you're going to go to prison, it doesn't matter. What matters is there is a little boy named Michael Vaughan, and he was abducted, and you know something, and you know who murdered him, and you got to do something. And I would straight up tell my kid, and if you're the one who did any of these things, you need to own up to it. You need to pay the consequences of your action. And if I felt like my child wasn't willing to do that and just wanted to play games with me and manipulate me, they would be cut the frig off. I would not allow it. I would not. Kelly is here. Rizzo's here. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Renee, Stacy was very callous to Brandy. It was heartbreaking and infuriating at the same time. Infuriating. Sorry. Yeah. It was so hard for me not to kick him off panel. Oh, thank you so much. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell for me. If you would like to become a member, please join here, Missing PNW. We'd love to have you part of our family. Make sure to, click that notification bell, because I do a lot of spur of the moment lives. There's a lot of information that's going to be coming out. And man, when it does, I'm going to go live real quick and you'll get that notification just in case charges come out in Michael Vaughan's case, something breaks in Kyron Horman's case. There's so much been going on here at Missing PNW. Just Travis Decker, has he been found yet? When he gets found, when he does get found, we will be going live. Rizzo, thank you so much. I have to say, Samantha, you really are good at digging up stuff. I didn't even know his mother's real name. This is very interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sounds like Kay doesn't believe Sarah either if she's asking for a plea deal to be taken, or the death penalty to be taken off the table, right? It is sad, it is heartbreaking, but all true, and we have to talk about it. These situations are not any fun to talk about, let me tell you, Oh, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, that's what's heartbreaking, Tooth Fairy, is too bad. Brandy would love to talk to her son, and it's so aggravating. It is completely aggravating. It pisses me off is what it does. Thank you for coming in, Lane. Good to see you. So now we're going to talk about Adrian Lucien and his mother. I know a lot. We're going to really go in deep on Adrian sometime next week when I get everything put together for his show, which will be next week or the week after. I don't know how long it's going to take me. The clips that I have are really long. There's some of them 2, 3, 4 hours. So I've got a lot of work, a lot of editing to do in all my recordings. But what I can say, from what I have been told by one of Adrian's school friends, they grew up together, told me that Adrian's mom was just disappointed that she couldn't help Adrian stay on the straight and narrow path. She was a Buddhist who ate clean, and just, she was just that kind of person. She ate clean. She did all of the good stuff. She did a ton of meditation all the time. She was teaching Adrian meditation, his friend's meditation. Like, his friend told me that one of the things that he loved best about Adrian's mom is that she taught him meditation, and that he still meditates to this day. Like, it's something that he continues to do, even though he was taught it at a very, very early age by Adrian's mom. She passed away after being sick for a long while. It devastated Adrian. It actually took him on a, even though he was already doing bad when she got sick, like Adrian's friend told me that he believed that the stress that Adrian was putting on her during her illness is what ultimately killed her. She was just absolutely broken. And you know, he was there and he was being disrespectful. He was making bad choices. His lifestyle was horrible. And then she ends up passing away. And then all of Adrian's, you know, life choices and lifestyle changes and gets even worse. Even worse. That's when he's busted with all that math. You guys know what I'm trying to say. In a different state. And, you know, he done lost his mind. And I mean, I don't mean that literally, because Adrian will play. He will try to make everybody think that he's done lost his mind, when in all actuality, Adrian has only fooled his family, his dad, his sisters, or his sister. And, you know, he's actually doing quite well. I'm excited to be able to talk more about him and what he's up to. Adrian's mom spent a ton of money putting Adrian through private schools and knew he had the potential to be an amazing athlete, like a basketball star. Seriously, like a basketball star. I don't know if you guys know it. Hey, Evil Alaska. Good to see you. It's okay if you're late. I need one of those like boom, boom, boom. You're late coming in or something. No, it's no problem. You can always do the replay crew. Good night, McSporn. Thank you for coming in. Need to catch the rest tomorrow. It is 3:15 a.m. here. Thanks, Sam, Mods, Chatters. Night, night. Have a good night, McSporn. Thank you so much for being here. An amazing basketball star. Oh, I have this video. Like, you guys have to check this out. First, there is this Adrian Lucian. This is put up on ESPN, guys, okay? Class of 2009, hometown, Toledo, Ohio. School. Oh, I can't even read that anymore. It's like a military academy that he was in. But yeah, they were talking about him. They wanted to recruit him for basketball. This is Adrian Lucian spinning. This is a very old picture, and it's blurry because it was such a tiny picture and even trying to blow it up. I mean, cute, handsome little boy. And I want you guys to see this, okay? From anywhere on the basketball court that Adrian is throwing this ball is going in. From slam dunks, from across the room, doesn't matter. Adrian could have had such a different life. He could have been the best of the absolute best basketball star. And I was told by Adrian's friend that he's so disappointed in himself, he doesn't even want to play basketball anymore. I mean, look at this. Look at how far away he is right here. Boom. He's insane. Most incredible basketball player. Really could have gone somewhere. The best of the best wanted him, and he gave it all away for a lifestyle that has led him now to be a suspect in Michael Vaughan's abduction. Long shots. He's so good at what he did. He's a very tall man. I mean, this is him before all of his tattoos, everything. His mom was so disappointed in what her son had become. She couldn't handle all of the things that he was doing while he was living with her before she died. And like I said earlier, look at that shot. That was from across the court. She could just not live any longer, you know. All the disappointment, all of what she thought he would be. I mean, his own mom sick, and he's still disrespectful, bad lifestyle and everything. Like, he could have done something better with himself, and he chose different. If she would have been around for this, to see him be a suspect in this case, I seriously believe she would not be a naive mom. She would be telling him to go do the right damn thing, or she would have nothing to do with him. Sweet toughness. Hello. It is a shame. Drugs really do mess up everything in your life. You know, he wanted to hang out with gang members. He wanted to do all the things that his mom didn't want for him, that his mom tried to keep him out of. It's so sad that all of the suspects have amazing parents, that they were all raised good, raised by parents that tried everything they could to just make sure that their kids had a great life. Parents living a good Christian life. And then these suspects in Michael Vaughan's abduction, these children taking advantage of their parents, you know, straight up manipulating them. Some parents like Kay, I believe, are naive. I don't believe that Kay really understands that she is being manipulated by her own daughter. And Sarah and Stacy know exactly what they're doing to her. I really feel like Tammy would tell, that is Stacy's mom, would say something if she knew something. Or at least try to get Stacy to do the right thing, which she's already had him do. And unfortunately, Stacy can't come forward with any more information because he does not know where Michael is now. And there's only one reason for that. Because Brandon or Sarah, or Brandon and Sarah, know where Michael is. Why was Sarah offered a plea deal is what I'm sitting here wondering. We know Brandon was. Why is Sarah being offered one? What does she know? All I know is that I am speaking directly to Kay, to Tammy, to Tina. Please put yourself in the Vaughn's family's shoes and tell me you don't want to help this sweet, beautiful boy, Michael Vaughan, to come home to his parents, to come home to his siblings, to his papa who loves him, to the family that misses him, that he is not coming home to spend time with them. He's coming home to be laid to rest. That is the truth. And whether you want to believe it or not, your child has some kind of involvement, some kind of knowledge, or is the person that abducted him or the person that murdered him. And it is time for any of the parents, if you know something, say something. How could you not? Brandy Neal is not going to be alive forever. She is so very sick, and all she wants is answers. And if you have answers that you could give a dying mother, then it's time for you to talk. Call law enforcement. Talk to your child and tell them to do the right thing. Stop enabling these children. Stop giving them money. Cut them off. Tell them, do what you're supposed to do. Be a man. Be a woman. Be Michael's hero. Tell your children that. Be Monkey's hero. Tell them what you know. But stop enabling. It is time for Michael Vaughan to have justice. I'm sorry that your children are involved in this. We all know this is not what you wanted for your children. We know you did everything you possibly could for your children to raise them better and have them have an amazing life. We know that it was their own choices that got them into trouble. This is not your fault. You cannot care about what people think about you as mothers and fathers, because it's about Michael Vaughan. It is about justice for him and justice for his family. Please put yourself in the Vaughan shoes. Do everything you can to get your child to talk to law enforcement about any knowledge or anything that they have. It is time. If anyone has any information about Michael Joseph Vaughan, he was abducted in Fruitland, Idaho on July 27th, 2021 in his neighborhood near the Wondra's home on 1102 Red Wing Street. Michael Vaughan was abducted near his house. Michael Vaughan was murdered by one of these suspects and was buried in the Wondra's backyard. And one or two of these suspects know exactly where Monkey is now. They moved him from the Wandra's backyard to an unknown location. Somebody out there knows something. Maybe you have sat down with one of these parents and they just unloaded everything that they knew. They are your best friend. They're you're good friends with them. You're not so good friends with them. Your acquaintance, or you heard something. That's all information you could give to law enforcement. If these parents aren't willing to talk, if they've told something to somebody else, then it's time for them to talk. Call law enforcement 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Somebody out there can be Monkey's hero. It could be one of your children. It really could be one of your children. Wouldn't you rather be proud of your child for coming forward than for them to have charges pressed against them? Know that child is going to end up in prison for the rest of their lives, if not face the death penalty, where you're going to lose your child for forever, and your reputation's still going to be ruined, if that's what you're worried about. And then it's all for nothing. You did nothing to help them, and then the death penalty comes and you lose your child forever. If your child stays alive, you could still talk to them on the phone. You could still go in to go visit them. You're not going to have that if the death penalty is on the table. Remember that. 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. I can't express to any of you parents anymore the heartache that I have for you going through this, knowing that you have done everything you possibly can for your child, and that this is the hand that you've been dealt. This is the hand that God dealt you. Maybe He knows that you want to say something. Maybe God is telling you to say something. So say it. Say what it is you need to say and tell law enforcement. God dealt you this for a reason. And now you need to find it within your heart and figure out why God has given you this. Why God has given you a child that's a suspect in an abduction and murder. Is there something that you can do to help? Is God leaning on you for that help? Because I know the Vaughan family is. They need all of the help and all of the information they can possibly get in Monkey's case. So please, I'm pleading with you for Brandy and the Vaughan family to please come forward if you know anything. 208-642-6006 or find Michael at fruitland.org. Yes, the truth will set you free. The truth will set, your children free to an extent. Maybe a better plea deal for not spending life in prison even. I don't know what they're willing to give, but they're willing to give a lot to find Monkey. Eve thinks that they both took Monkey. I'm not sure what I believe. Yeah, the suspects in Michael's case, the amount of them is scary. I really hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live. I think it was something very important to go over, especially when we're dealing with, suspects, their family members. Because I do believe some of these suspects' family knows something, just not sure what it is. And I just really hope that one of them comes forward and tells law enforcement what they know, or just pleads with their child to do the right thing. Stop allowing yourself to be manipulated, Kay. I am sorry. You don't know me, but I am telling you now, you are 100% being manipulated by your daughter and by Stacy. Straight up. And thank God, Kay, that you and Tammy both know that there are some ugly things in Eve. So this whole lawsuit thing is just a crock. Just don't believe it. Continue to stay away from her, not talk to her. She's not doing anything but hindering this investigation, and she's going to drag both of you down with it if you choose to let her. Let me tell you that. Thank you guys so much for coming in, for always supporting the channel, for always supporting Michael and the Vaughan family. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm looking forward to more live soon in the future. I'm not gonna lie, it is summertime. I'm gonna be hit and miss. I could be going live at 3 p.m., 4:30 p.m. Tonight was 5:30 p.m. When I've got the time to go live is when I'm gonna go live, and there may not even be as many lives through the summer as I normally do, because I love summertime in the Pacific Northwest. We've got fishing, hiking, kayaking, camping. We've got all the things, beach trips. I've got a really big 32-year anniversary to celebrate with my husband in August. I've got my daughter's birthday coming up. We will be here for some kind of special live for Michael on his birthday this month. We will have an all-day live for Michael on July 27th. Marks the 4-year mark since Michael's abduction. So just keep that in mind. Please hit the thumbs up on the way out and keep praying for the family. Keep praying for Monkey. We're Monkey's army. We're not going anywhere. We're never going to stop asking questions. We're not going to stop talking about it. We're going to continue to fight. While Brandy is sick, we're going to continue to fight for forever until we know that justice has been served. God bless and have a good night, everyone. Everyone stay safe this weekend. Thank you, Renee. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. Love, hugs, and prayers to anyone who needs them. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Have a great weekend and happy Father's Day to any of you amazing fathers out there, or mothers that have to be a father and a mother at the same time. Have a great weekend, you guys.